Today on Gamers Couch,
Elysium.
hello! Welcome to the couch. Happy Sunday. My name is Sarah, I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten,
Really?
and this is my husband Daniel. We're talking board games. Today we're...
Today we are on a schedule, so we're going right through this and start with it.
I'm trying to be kind
This
of
train is
efficient.
going and you're not stopping it already.
Yeah, again, a minute. Where was I? Oh yeah, welcome to the Gamers Couch. Welcome also to all the new subscribers to the channel. Thank you for, well, subscribing and being interested in our lovely reviews. We are going to be in Greece today, or talking about Greece, but no, don't worry, not the current Greece and all that stuff going on, but
The
ancient
political-
Greece.
The political situation cooled down, so now we can finally talk about
Ancient Greece
ancient
and
Greece. Yes.
the gods and goddesses that lived in that era.
Still do?
So, what?
Still do? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, right. Maybe in another dimension that would be. Well, the weather kind of suggests that.
Yeah, we
still have some gods
Zeus is here and
He moved to Dortmund. We got
throwing stuff down.
Yeah, we got a big kind of hurricane storm going on here, and if you hear any weird noises that do not come from our mouths, it's definitely the shutters and tiles of the roof, and
no
no
farts.
farting.
It's all the shutters.
Yeah, right. So let's hop right into the game. We always start with rules and gameplay. That's his part to explain, and then we talk about what we liked or maybe not liked in the game, and then we wrap up the video with funny stories and experiences. And if we do have lots and lots of bloopers, I'm going to put them at the end, so we'll see how the shoot goes. Let's start. Rules and gameplay.
Yeah, so Elysium is a game for 2 to 4 players. Takes roughly an hour to play. Comes with a bunch of cards, but also with little wooden columns that like to jump down the table, and little player boards and stuff that will get
The temple.
set in the middle to form a temple and so on. We'll get into that in a second. So Elysium, as you already heard from Sarah, is about Greek mythology. Gryph is the short form for Greek mythology. Gryphology, also a bird. In which there are cards at the center of the table, and each turn players try to pick up some of those to form legends, or better said, to form myths, and let them go over into the Elysium to score points at the end. That's how Greek mythology is working. So this is going really strong. So I'm going with Griff for the entire thing.
It's kind of like your German English kind of lesson
Griff.
of the week, the Griff.
So on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a card from the center of the table and try to form sets of cards of either the same color and different numbers. They are all numbered from 1 to 3, or sets of equal numbers with different colors, and you always play with 5 different colors in the game. The box itself comes with, I think, 8. I might be wrong.
Count to the left,
1,
please.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It comes with 8 colors. But you're only going to pick 5 of those, and that makes each game a little bit different. Now, the interesting part about these is that each card is not only a color and a number, but also comes with an ability that is listed down here, and they are all very different. And each color is also has a different archetype, thematic appeal to it. So these purple cards, for example, are assigned to the family of Zeus, and Zeus cards are all about scoring victory points out of the normal way. There are others like Poseidon, who is really aggressive and allows you to well, interact with other players in a not so fortunate way. Or
For them.
Athena, who is, well, gives you bonus points, but if you use her abilities, she also helps the other players a little bit, because she's the opposite of Poseidon, it seems. So during that turn, picking up cards, you have to decide which to go for first. And you cannot pick up any card as you'd like. You have to meet certain conditions, and that's where these little columns come into play. You start the game with all 4 of those, and each round is sort of set up of 4 turns, or you get to play 4 times per round. Each time you play, you have to discard one of these columns. And if you want to pick up a card, you have to meet the condition. So if you, let's say you want to pick up this card, this has a little yellow orb in the top right corner, and that means you may only pick up that card from the center if you still have the yellow column in your play area. So you'll
if you need a hand, just let me know.
End up with this little thing. Typically have your little columns on here. When it's your turn, you pick a card that you're allowed to pick up because you still have the columns on here. And afterwards, you have to get rid of one of those columns. Now, the interesting part about this is you don't have to get rid of the column that you use to, well, purchase or to get the card. You can get rid of any column. So the thought process at that point is, what column don't I need in the upcoming turns to do stuff? You'll do that 3 times, so each round you end up with 3 cards, and the 4th action is to pick up one of these. Well, these are more than 4.
There's another 1 and another 2.
Yeah, these are for different player amounts. Let me quickly check this. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. Okay, let's go with these. So you pick one of these 4 cards that, for one, give you the turn order, the player order for the next round. So obviously the one with the big 1 on it says you're the first player next turn. Whoever picks up the 2 is the second, and so on. But you also get little bonuses down here, like gold, victory points, or the ability to transfer cards that you got over to Elysium and will make them actually be viable for scoring victory points. I'll get into that soon. Now the temple thing that I showed you, this is where all those 4 cards are under. So as you may hold the temple thing so that I can hold the, well, I don't.
This is how it looks in total.
So this is how it looks on the table, and you may notice there's little colored orbs at the top. So if you want to pick up number 1 here, you must have still the red column on your player board to do that. Now, as you might have guessed, the decision making per round is, do I want to pick up cards first and then maybe end up with whatever thing that's left from the other players, or do I want to secure my first place next round, or the place I want to go to next round fairly soon, but maybe risk not getting a really good card that I want to have to, well, complete my set later on.
Can I put the mustache away?
Yes, please. Also, while it seems that the number 1 card is really good, makes you start first, the bonuses down here are actually set up that sometimes you want to go 4th, because this not only gives you 3 gold coins, but allows you to transfer 3 cards into Elysium. So, mentioned Elysium enough, let's go into what is Elysium. Whenever you get one of these cards, you put it on top of your player board, and as long as it's there, it's called to be in your sphere. As long as a card is in your sphere, you can use the special ability of that card. Some of these are one-time use, some of these are permanent as an effect, but generally you can only use them as long as they're in your sphere. Now, at the end of the turn, that little harp symbol means you can transfer a card from your sphere into Elysium. So you would just move it down here. And the ultimate goal is to, well, accumulate sets in Elysium consisting of 1, 2, 3, as I mentioned, of the same color, or 5 cards of the same number but different colors. While doing so, you have to pay Karen because, well, obviously, if people are going from your sphere into, well, Elysium, and the Greek tragedy model of storytelling mentions you have to die, kind of, to become a myth and a legend, you have to pay him to move the card down here. And that's where these numbers also factor in. So a 3 costs 3 gold coins to move from your sphere into Elysium. So you'll for sure have to pay 6 gold coins to get a full set of 1, 2, 3, and you must have 3 harps. Now let's take a quick look at these again. So if you go first place for next turn, you're only allowed to transfer 1 card into Elysium, which is not that much. If you go for second place, you can already transfer 2 cards. If you go for third place, you can also transfer 2 cards, but you get 5 gold to do so. So that's actually, this is already enough to transfer a 2 and a 3 at the same time. And the 4 gives you 3, but allows you to transfer 3 cards down into Elysium. And you'll play 5 rounds of this. So you'll get to pick 3 cards for 5 rounds. So you'll for sure will pick up 15 cards, and the fourth action is always get one of those. Now you might figure out that maybe if you get rid of a column and another player picks up something, and you will end up not having the right color to pick anything. There's 2 possible ways, 2 possible situations where that can happen. One, if you haven't gotten one of these things, you must pick one and turn it over, and then you'll end up with only 1 transfer to Elysium and 1 gold coin, and you're guaranteed to be last place in the next turn. If the same thing happens for picking, or if you haven't picked up a card, you pick up a card from the stack, but it has to be turned around, and this is called a civilian who may aid you or not so much in your endeavor to collecting sets.
That was a door. Like I said, storm.
The civilian can be used as a wild card, so you can transfer a civilian from your sphere into Elysium, and it can take place of another card. The only thing that you have to do is you must have at least 2 cards already in your set in Elysium. So let's say you have a 1 and a 2. Let's say you have these 2 in your Elysium already, and you have a civilian in your sphere. You may transfer this one as the 3 and complete the set. Obviously, this then still costs 3 gold to transfer over there because he takes the place of a 3. At the end of the game, however, this guy will score your 2 negative victory points, or every civilian in your Elysium will score some negative victory points. But that's still not too bad, considering that if you have a full set of 1, 2, 3 of one color, that gives you 6 victory points. So it's still more than just 2, which would have given you just 3 victory points, but it's not the full amount that you would get for having a complete set of those. So far, so good? Great. Now, let's take a quick look at what possible card abilities are there. There's this little flash icon, meaning if you pick up the card, you have to execute whatever's under here at once. And that, again, depends heavily on which color it is. As I said, Zeus is all about gaining victory points in other ways than just collecting those sets. So if I pick up this one, I immediately get 2 victory points. Then there's this harp symbol, meaning if you transfer this card to Elysium, you trigger this action, which is getting another victory point. So this actually pays twice, kind of. Then you have this, it's not a tapping icon because this is not a Wizards of the Coast game, but this means you can turn over the card and once per round use its ability. In this case, it says you get to remove one of the cards in your sphere and get 2 victory points for that. So maybe you end up with a card you don't really want or can't use. You can get rid of that with this one and still score some points with it. Then there's the Chronos icons, and there's actually different Chronos icons. Some have just this hourglass on here, and then there's one with hourglass and a little equal sign or unequal sign. These score at the end of the game and typically revolve about something like you get a victory point for each of type card in your Elysium after the game, and most of the time each of the families, each of these colors has one that allows you to score more points for each card of that color that you have or that is present in the set. Then there's this infinity symbol, and that just means this is a permanent thing that is available. So as long as this card is in your sphere, each civilian that you either gather or move to Elysium scores you another victory point, which is not too bad. The little one with a circle on comes with a circle that's put on here, and that's a one-time use, and kind of you discard the circle and then trigger whatever the action is down here, which can be used strategically. It's Zeus may be a bad example, but let's say Poseidon, the blue cards, some of those are really nasty, which allow you to discard the circle to force every other player to discard a certain card of a certain number or something like that. And last but not least, there are these cards with the little snake. They're called Elysium.
Yeah, the medical card.
No, it's not Esculap. It's not.
But I always associate it with that.
It's the little snaky guy with the not tapping symbol.
It's the Voldemort card.
So this works in a way. You need at least 2 cards with this icon on the table to be able to use their ability. Once you have 2, you can use both abilities. So this alone doesn't do much, but having 2 of them is great. So that's all what the cards are doing. Let's get to the final phase. Let's say we have spent 5 rounds getting cards, building sets, and now it's time to score. Lucky for us, there's a little card that tells us how to score everything. As I said, there's 2 different things that you can score. One is so-called families, which are these. Once you get into the scoring phase, if you have a single card in your Elysium, you can discard that right away, and that isn't worth points at all. So you need at least a set of 2 cards to make them count, and that can be a 1 and a 2, a 2 and a 3, a 1 and a 3, or for the other things, just 2 cards of different colors with the same number. If you have a full set of 1, 2, 3, that's worth 6 points. If you just have 2 cards, that's worth 3 points. I mentioned that. Similarly for cards of the same number, if you have 2, that's 2 points, 3 it's 4 points, 4 is 8, and 5 is not 16 but 12. But you kind of get the point. On your way doing so, there's also some special tokens in the game, like these family colored tokens and this 1, 2. That's kind of difficult to see, I guess. These little 1, 2, 3 tokens. These are handed out to the player who's the first to make the associated set complete during the game. So let's say I'm playing the 1, 2, 3 Zeus card, then I'm the first and I get this token, which is worth 5 victory points. If the next player that does that gets still the 2 victory point token. By the way, that could be me as well. So if you get 2 full sets of Zeus family setups, then you get both tokens. And in a similar fashion, if you're the first one to get all a 5-er set of 1s, you get this 3-point token. If you have a set of 5 2s, you get this 6-point token, and 9 points for a set of 3s. Obviously, because a set of 3s is way more expensive to move. Have Karen move those fat guys down to your Elysium and make them count. That's pretty much it. There's some other alternate ways to score points depending on the families you're playing with. For example, there's Ares, and Ares has his own kind of point currency called honor points. The way that works is the player with the most honor points at the end of the game gets, let me look it up, 16 points, and then 8, and then 4, and then 2. So that's just a different twist on doing stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's another kind of thing here that you use if you want to throw it on your foot. No, this is for the Oracle, which is another family. If you're playing with the Apollon family, that kind of is works like a preview, so you have a chance to see what are the next cards that are coming out. What I forgot to mention, as I said, each round starts with laying out some cards on the table, depending on the player size. After the round ends, all cards that are still there are removed and you get a full fresh set. So that Oracle ability of Apollon makes way more sense because that gives you a hint for the next round what cards will be out there. At least I think 4 of them are visible there. So you already get an idea what you want to start collecting and try to set up for a set next time. I think that's it in terms of rules.
There's one that you didn't mention, that when you buy a card and it has that artwork on it, you cannot have the same card in your sphere with the same artwork. You can have another 3 with that same family, but not the same artwork in your sphere at one time.
Pretty much you cannot have the same card twice in your sphere. It's not just about the artwork, but also the title. So it's cards there's multiple copies of each card within the family. You only have to have one in the sphere at the same time, which is kind of important for the Elysium cards. So if you have one of those, and where is it? There. So let's say you have the initiation card. You couldn't get a second initiation card to make that then tappable, or you need a different Ulysses card. And
like this one, for example. It has a different... Oh no, it's the same artwork.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
See? Sarah gets banned from the game for cheating.
No.
I think, I might be wrong on this, but I think each family only has one of these, so you're kind of forced to use a different family to be able to use the Ulysses cards. Some other random side notes, the game comes with 2 kind of manuals. It's actually just one manual, which is I think this one, which explains pretty well what I just did at the first day. We literally started playing and reading from the manual while playing through the first time, and that worked out pretty well for us. Another thing that's really nice is there's the second sheet, which explains some errata or FAQs for the cards, but it also tells you what's the family like to play and what's their intent. So, as I said, Apollon here says he has the power to influence the future, and you will see cards that come into the next epoch, which is kind of their term for the next round. You have Ares, who's giving victory points to the one who's most honorable on the field by, proxy getting those honor points. There's Athena. I'm sorry. Did I say Athena? Mm-hmm. Athena's the one that gives that kind of forces you to help other players to use her benefits, and usually it's something like a card would say, if you use this ability, you gain 1 gold and 1 victory point, and every other player may decide if they want to have either the gold or the victory point, but not both. So you kind of, you're getting ahead, but you're not really. Then there's Hades with the brown dog icon, I guess for Cerberus, that is really good at moving people to, Elysium, comes with the job, I guess, and also giving you additional points for that. Hephaestus, the smith that is pretty much a money-generating machine, gives you a lot of gold to do stuff. Hermes, which is not only a delivery service in Germany, but also the god who allows you to use cards more than once and repeatedly use them. Poseidon, whose power is to be an ass.
But he can swim nicely.
Yeah. Poseidon is the guy who's I'm pretty sure the only one who has aggressive playing cards in here, which might feature in the gameplay experience thing. And last but not least is Zeus, and since I used Zeus cards primarily as an explanation, that he's the guy who can score points in, well, additional ways apart from the set building thing. One thing I actually liked about this, and this is not strictly rules again, but this comes with a full little bio about all the illustrators, artists, designers that did this, because you may not have noticed that because we only showed you 1 or 2 cards from the same family, but each family has its own illustrator who has his own take on the thing, which I think is rather nice. And last but not least, and this is the last thing that's not really rule dependent, but not really
Goes into gameplay.
Goes into our rating system. This is the box. Have you seen our previous episodes? I approve. It's really nice.
Yeah. So let's go into the next section of the video, which is likes and dislikes. And Hubby just mentioned a few that I'm so very much agreeing with, which is, of course, the box itself. It's awesome that it actually, you can play the game out of the box, which is always very, very nice. I really, really like the components of the game. Quality and also art style are amazing. So kudos to all the different artists that worked on the game. It's really, really great. Also, a shout out to the publisher or the manufacturer. The cardboard. I always have problems with that word.
Quack.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack.
The cardboard pieces are really, really awesome. They're very sturdy. The grip.
The grip pieces.
The grip pieces are really, really good. No, they're sturdy. They're well done. They don't warp. Nothing like that. So, very good. So just the haptic part of the game is really awesome and I like it. I also like the gameplay itself. I really like that you only play with 5 families out of 8, if I remember correctly. He counted.
That was the number I counted aloud, yes?
I did not really listen like all the time. Sorry.
Yeah, it happens to me too, especially when I'm talking.
Yeah. Replayability of the game is really high, and I like that a lot. It's more of a quiet game in comparison of to the other nominee of the Spiel des Jahres that we talked about last week. So way more quiet, way less player interaction. But when you have player interaction, it's always very funny because either you get thanked a lot or cursed at a lot. So that's really, really cool. And I just like how, how to say that, how the game floats along. That sounds so weird, but it's kind of eerie. It's like, because it is so quiet and you have kind of the same moves all of, in every round, it's just like la la la.
Could it be that you just hadn't switched on your hearing aid? Because I remember clearly complaining a lot while playing this game.
But you always do that, I don't listen to you all the time.
It's not that quiet, actually.
No, I mean, like, if you don't have Athena or Poseidon.
And by the way, not complaining about the game, but complaining about the people.
Right, but I found it...
The plebs.
The plebs that you play with. I found it actually kind of... calming and, I don't want to say therapeutic or zen-like, but it was like, yeah, you play the cards, yeah, you buy them. Of course, when you have Poseidon or Athena, it's like, la 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 la, I have them in my sphere, and then I put them into my Elysium, and then I start a new round, and we set up the new cards, and then everything starts again, and then that's like 5 times. But once you have it, and during that, not having Poseidon and Athena, it's kind of quiet at the table. You talk other stuff maybe, but not about the game or strategy or whatever that is at the table, you talk about anything else. And then there's that 1 second where you play Poseidon and it all switches. So I really like that. I like the calm part of the game. So I would choose, or I would ask you to have that on the table when I'm not really in the talkative mood, but more like in the, I want to play something, but I want to play something without having the need to talk to you or any other player for that matter.
Fair enough.
So I really, really liked that. And I liked that it wasn't different. There was no real sweet spot that I discovered for the game. It was just as nice with 3 players than it was with a full set of 4.
But it's both 3 and 4 is both nicer, I think, than just 2.
Did we play it with 2? Yeah, we played it once with 2. Right, I'm like forgetting things. So yeah, but I still liked it with 2.
It's all right.
It's not that I said, this is kind of like the alternative version of the game. Not so much.
Fair warning, this game is a pretty brain-burnery kind of game.
You don't play that 5 times in a row.
Simply due to the fact you look at the table, then you try to figure out, okay, what cards I want to go for in terms of what are the effects of the cards, then what cards are available in terms of numbering and coloring for your set building, and you start thinking about that, and then you quickly go into, okay, if I pick this card now, is he and her going to pick the other cards that I won, or can I, maybe I need to go next turn first to make sure that I get a card that is really important, but and that keeps you thinking a lot, and I think that's the main reason why it's so quiet at the table.
Yeah.
Then
very, very thinky, very
Then sometimes
tactical.
you have the problem or the feeling that you have to get a card which is entirely useless for you, but if someone else is getting that card, that will majorly screw up what you're doing. See the Poseidon cards.
Yeah. And I think that game also, because it is so thinky and you can really take forever to decide which card you're gonna buy, if you have somebody with analysis paralysis, it benefits from a stopwatch. Like 2 minutes and then, or a minute, and then you have to
and then
buy a card.
The next thing you end up with, okay, let's say you have the cards that you want, then you realize, oh damn, I need money to move them over to Elysium. Also, I need Karen to, ship them over there. So I need those stupid harps to have them shipped. So there's while that sounds like, that's not a lot, but it can be really draining on your concentration. So that's what I meant with, this is really intense. It is the same kind of quite intense game as, I don't want to say Dominion again, but...
No, but The Witcher felt very, very much in the same way, and lots of Xidit felt very close to that for me.
Yeah, I can see that. It's so despite you having these little guys, it's not a worker placement game. I will say it's a very simple drafting / set building game. I really like those columns. That thinking thing just gets amplified by that. So it's not only if I pick this card now, is he going to pick that card next, but I pick this card now, what colored column can I get rid of and don't need, or which one is limiting my things. Sometimes I've had the same thing where I actually had to think of, okay, which columns do I have to get rid of to make sure that I'm getting a civilian to, either get bonus points because I had the cards out that give me bonus points for civilians, or to be able to have the set complete and have that count in some way. It's really intense, and I understand some people might not be into that at all. I enjoy that quite a lot from time to time, not every weekend, but this is certainly a game I can see we will bring out a couple more times and play. And that being said about the mechanics of the game, I really like the theme. We don't have that many Greek mythology, glyph games in our shelf. And while there's so many fantasy games out there, and I think you could paste another theme on this. However, there are some gameplay things that are tied into the theme. You move your heroes out of your sphere into Elysium by paying Karen, and that works really nice. I really like the different thematic archetypical approaches to the families that the different gods give. That you have this, he can look into the future because he's Apollo, or you have Athena, who's helping other players because she is kind of more the helping type of god. I really like that. It's a really good rooted theme in gameplay mechanics, and it's something different. It's as I said, there's a couple of Greek themed or girth themed games out there, but not that many. And I couldn't think of another game that is this strategic type card drafting game that has this kind of theme. So that's actually very welcome.
Yeah.
And I also like the artwork. While it is, as I said, different artists, they don't look too different or too out of place. So let's say you have these Aries cards here, and in comparison, that's what the Zeus cards look like. So they're all in the same artistic realm, but you notice that it's different artists, different illustrators working on that, and yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's right. And then you can bicker about your... Okay, I go first. So my personal scale from 1 to awesome, this is a 9.5. And it just didn't make the awesome because it's 4-player only. So I would really, really like that game with 5 or 6 players.
Don't you think it would take too long then? We are now in the unfortunate situation that we are usually more 5 players.
I mean, it was very much fun to just watch and hear you bicker and follow along and help one player, of course, to win in the end. But it would be nice to have it playable with 5 or 6 players. I think if you really say maximum 45 seconds to decide which card you're gonna buy, I think you could really make it time-wise, even with 5 players. If you don't have people at the table that need 5 minutes to decide which card they're gonna play.
I have to say, if they want to expand this game, I think it's more likely that there's a new family set coming out than if you add something to allow more than 4 players, you would have to redesign this thing. Then you suddenly need more than just 4 of the columns, and
yeah, that's why it's just half a point off and not really bothering me. It's just, oh, I would love to play that with 5 or 6. But if you have just 4 players in your group, this is a definite awesome. So, yeah, that's my rating. What's yours?
I'll give this game 2 coins for Karen, and he may bring it down to the Elysium for scoring.
Okay, that's great. So now let's start talking about funny stories.
I hate people who buy Poseidon cards. They need to be punched repeatedly somewhere where it hurts.
Why? But you love me, baby. Why?
It's a dick move.
I don't have a dick.
It's a dick move if you're behind in points, and then someone goes, now we're going to remove all the cards in your sphere that you still have there because I'm a dick.
What if
you know who you are?
What if you play Poseidon? Is it the same?
No, I bought Poseidon to keep you from futzing around with my game.
I was not even close to you, victory point wise. Why did you attack me and not the other player?
I did attack every player after that happened. So, as you can see, this game sometimes sparks controversial character development in terms of who's at fault for being a dick.
But it's always the others, that's for sure. But it can really anger or get you really angry at one point if somebody is doing these dick moves over and over again, like every round, and we had that in one game, which actually helped Tina to win because she was not targeted. So it can get very frustrating, and I think that because we always attack him first, because he usually is a really, really good player when it comes to any strategy
I'm
or
not,
tactical
because I'm
game.
out first every time.
Yeah, that's why we target you, because you're so strong when it comes to tactical or strategy games. Not so much with the luck-based games. That's where we are better anyways. We don't have to target you.
You're stealing my abilities by throwing me more and more challenges. You're feeding my superiority over.
Yeah, you're Dr. Evil at one point. Yeah, so he's a natural target for us. That's why you get screwed over so much when we play a new game like that, because we want to have him out of the way first. And then there's the second target and the third target. I'm usually not the target. That's what actually makes me second place a lot. I never win, but yeah.
Although I have to say, every time we played this, it was never clear at the end who won the game.
Yeah, you can't really see throughout the game.
Yeah, there's still this tension, anticipation. Okay, I think I'm up front. I don't know. Maybe let's see if I can maximize points. And there's some cards that combo really nice, so you really get a point engine going.
Yeah.
And if other players can see that early on, they will jump you. They should.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it was really good times that we had when we had the game on the table. Like we said, we didn't have it on the table a lot yet, but that's just because we have so many games that we got to play through. But whenever we had it like 4 or 5 times, I could look it up in the book where I have a score list how many times we played the game, but I'm too lazy to get up now. So, yeah, but I enjoyed it very, very much anytime that we had it on the table. Even just watching the others play was a lot of fun, which you can't say about pretty much a lot of games that you really just enjoy watching the whole game.
It's actually a very positive thing to say about a game that is as quiet and thinky as this is.
Yeah, it's not boring to watch. And it was like a whole hour that I sat there and just enjoyed you guys playing the game, and of course helping my girl to win the game. And there's a lovely card. You want to maybe buy that? So probably I'm not allowed to sit next to her and help her the next time we play that game. But yeah, maybe one of the other guys is my target the next time to help out. I don't know. It was just fun. So I guess that's the perfect time to wrap up the video. Or do you have any other wise words? My God.
Yeah, let's move this to Elysium.
Which is the other shelf that does not have the games on that we still gotta have on the couch. That's Elysium in our shelf. Anyways, time to wrap up the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Also, if you feel like putting your cursor on the thumbs up button, do so. Also, sharing or subscribing is very much appreciated. And we're going to see you next Sunday with the last of the Spiel des Jahres nominees, which is Orléans, not New Orleans.
So the old one in France.
The old one?
Not the new one in the US.
Yeah, I did learn. What else? What was it? I forgot. Oh, man.
I know what.
Bye.
Goodbye!
Have fun. Take good care. Happy Sunday. Maybe you get time to play some games. Enjoy. Bye.